Daytona. Now, it's not just this race we think about, Dale Earnhardt. It's every race. It's every week. And for many of us, it's every day. Maybe that's why back in the garage area, there's been this real business-as-usual approach to the Pepsi 400. Or maybe it's because those who knew him best have very personal memories of a very private man.
Anytime you go to visit him, the first thing he wants to do is take you down back and show you some of his livestock. We were running in a pickup truck about 80 miles an hour towards a closed gate, and he was fumbling for the switch and finally found the right one, and that gate started to open. And we're running about 80 miles an hour, and that gate's about 2 foot open, 3 foot open, 4 foot open. All of a sudden, I just sit back in the seat, and I got my seatbelt on, and at the last minute, I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, Dale, you're not going to make it. And he's like, you don't tell me I'm a 7-time Winston Cup champion. You don't tell me how to drive. And sure enough, we zipped through that gate, and all of a sudden you heard, pow, knocked the mirror off both sides of the truck, you know. And I looked over at him. He just gave me that half a grin and just daring me to say, you know, like, told you weren't going to make it, you know. So, you know, it was just one of those times where we just kind of both laughed it off. And I knew from that point on just to keep my mouth shut.
That year was really special for me to battle for a Winston Cup championship and to battle against the greatest in the sport. He made comments about they're not going to be able to serve champagne at the banquet. And he was the kind of guy that he liked to joke around. He liked to have fun. But most people didn't want to poke back at him. You know, they were like, okay, you know, he's good at dishing out. How is he at taking it, though? And so we went for it, and we, you know, we did the milk toast, and he got a big kick out. He laughed, you know, and stood up. And for him to stand up, you know, and cheer me, you know, or toast me back, I tell you what, I was already crying and chills going up my spine. But after that, boy, it was one of the neatest moments at a Winston Cup banquet for me.
He liked to pick on me a lot when we were out hunting and pull gags. And, you know, one of the favorite, I guess, I can still remember him. He rode ahead of us, and he slipped back and backed his horse up in between some bushes. And as I rode by, he come jumping out with that horse and hit my horse in the back, and I'm hanging off the side, and he's back there just dying laughing as I'm about to fall.
You know, I'm at the Southern 500, and it's about 100 degrees out there, and I get ready to get in my car. Man, it stinks bad. It smells real, real bad. And we'll come to find out Earnhardt qualified right behind me. He's right behind me. He lifted the seat cushion up and dumped a whole can of sardines in that seat. And God, did that car stink. Well, the very next race at Bristol, Tennessee, we got ready to start the race, and I snuck over, and I stole the steering wheel, and I hit up my car. And I'm just having a blast. I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and he is just fumbling all over the place, going nuts trying to find that steering wheel. He was in such frustration that I looked, and I saw his crew guys running around. I saw one crew guy, and I went, and I stuck it out the window, and he was just like, oh, my God, thank you.
Every time I think of you, every time I think of you, every time.
So many stories in the garage area. Your favorite Earnhardt stories when you found out this guy's good.
I really did. It was 1980. He had been the Rookie of the Year in 1979, but in 1980, the 500-mile race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, he passed me early on going in turn 1, sideways. Going in the corner sideways, kind of like he was on dirt. And I said, he's going to crash in just a little bit. I better back off and get away from this guy. But, you know, every time I saw him that day, he was sideways. But I kept waiting for him to crash. Folks, he won the race that day, sideways for 500 miles. We rarely see that in Winston Cup cars today. 21 years ago, I knew Earnhardt was the real deal.
And you were right. So many memories of Dale Earnhardt, but certainly no one has more memories than his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And he's standing by, ready to start the Pepsi 400. Let's check in on pit road.
Well, Bill, it has been a week of emotional highs and lows for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Dale, your thoughts as you get ready to climb in the car. What are your emotions right now?
I'm just ready to get out there and get racing. We got a real fast car, and just hope I can be able to take care of it all night long and stay out of any kind of trouble and I can get in out there. We got a car capable of winning, and we just got to make the right moves on the racetrack and on pit road that put us up front at the end.
In honor of your father, what would it mean to you personally to win this race, Dale?
Well, I know he's had a lot of success here, and I'm looking forward to maybe having the same kind of success. I really like this racetrack. It's one of my favorite tracks, and to win here would really mean a lot to me and the rest of the team as well.
His father was a hero to many. What a heroic story it would be if Dale Jr. could win tonight. To Bill Weber at the War Wagon.
Thanks, Marty. They just concluded driver introductions a few moments ago. The loudest cheer for Dale Earnhardt Jr. In this sport, so much attention is focused on success. But the death of Dale Earnhardt has refocused attention on safety.
Maybe sometimes we focus a little bit too much on comfort, trying to go fast.
The way I brace in an accident, I don't know if the Hans device would help me or hurt me, to tell you the truth.
NASCAR needs to stay out of the mandating business.
You let off the throttle, you mash the throttle, and you kind of get programmed and you don't think about the consequences.